All right, so it's really nice to be back here again with all of you guys with Valencia. I am sharing my screen. Hopefully everybody can see that, and I'm getting rid of all of the things that are floating around in my page. So today what we're going to be talking about are resumes and also LinkedIn. And you want those resumes and those LinkedIn profiles to look very, very similar. So the first thing that I would suggest that you all do is go and pull up Google and do a search on best resume samples. And when I did that, I found several pages I wanted to show you guys. So here is one example of a resume that's not so great, and it's doing whatever this thing is. So I'm not going to hover over it. Notice on the left-hand side where they're saying no to it, and then there's the one with the check mark on the right-hand side. They look very similar, but there are unique differences about it. You can definitely see that the header, they're really the person that is creating this resume, and hopefully it's the student. They're taking advantage of the fact that when you're using Word or whatever, if you're in a Mac, whatever the equivalent is, there's always a header and a footer of a document. And you want to use that. That's really prime real estate where you go and you put your information in there. They've put their name, email, telephone number, and an address. I'm going to tell you, like I did last week, I don't think you need the address anymore. So people don't send letters out like they used to. Gosh, you barely even get like replies to emails. And that happened to me today. I had 2 interviews with students that were no-shows today. So, it happens. I did follow up with them by email, and I did follow up with them by text. If you cannot make, just as a interview tip, if you cannot make an appointment and you're feeling embarrassed and you don't want to reply back, that is really not a good thing to ghost anybody in that way. I would suggest that you make sure that you follow up and say, hey, I'm really sorry I missed the appointment. Being, super transparent about it, if it's a really great place and they like what they saw in the resume, they're going to talk with you. And they know that stuff happens, especially with COVID world, and that's where we live. So I would, as a tip, make sure you reply back. If you can't make an appointment, you can say, hey, I need to reschedule, or I'm no longer interested, either way, but that's a professional courtesy to do. You can also see that they put academic details in one of their headings, the languages they speak, their work experience, their hard and soft skills. I never put that in that order. So even though the one on the right is saying that this is a good way to lay it out, my preference is to probably put the work experience first above the education on the check marked resume, because I think people care about the work experience even more than they care about your educational background. What I like about the one on the right is over here, I can't ever hover over there. So the one on the right where it says Rick Grimes, notice his name is large, it's in font, it's saying what it is that his role is and what he's looking for. He's got his personal information in a column on the right-hand side. He's put some type of proficiency in there on a scale of 1 to 5 of the languages that he can speak and the skills that he has. He's over here also highlighting his awards, and you can see that it's formatted very, very nicely. That's really visually, it's very appealing to look at and engaging, and somebody wants to actually read that. And it's chunked. It's chunked for easy review. It's also one page is something else that I'm going to point out. I cannot begin to tell you how many people send me 2, 3, 4 pages of information about themselves. And I'm going, but you guys are just in school and you barely have any experience for the most part. And I can fit all of my years of experience on one page. I would really encourage you guys to, make sure that you're doing a good Google search of examples of resumes, best resume samples. Look at how they're laid out, and then choose one that you find really appealing. And then you would be able to create a resume that would be looked at more, it's more likely to be looked at. There is a slight disadvantage that when using applicant tracking systems, Many times, some of the pretty stuff, like the one on the right with the column and the black header, it may not pick up everything in an applicant tracking system. They tend to like the ones that are laid out a little more simply on the left. But I would connect with somebody at that company and I would send them the pretty resume for sure, somebody in HR, and say, hey, I sent my resume in, but I'm also sending it here just so you have another way of making sure that I'm here. I want to be able to stand out, so here's my resume. But they also have a lot of bullet points there, and notice how it's laid out. It's on the right-hand side. They've spent some time making sure that they're identifying the tasks and the skills they've done in the job, but they've broken it down on the right-hand side of the column where the skills are important, such as academic writing, research, creative writing. Those are really great skills to have since they're looking to be an editorial assistant. So that's one resume. This other one is Julie Meadows. I don't know what's going to happen when I click on this one, nothing. So what I liked about this one, the reason why I'm showing it is I've seen this as a template in Microsoft Office, Word. And I like the fact that they put their initials here instead of putting a picture. Again, I would not encourage you to put a picture. I would definitely keep it something that maybe looks more like a brand. And then there's also an address on here. You don't need that. But she's got skills on here. Again, skills are key. And the professional summary, that's up to you. I think that sometimes, again, it's real estate. And I go, where would I, that's where I can move the cover letter to, honestly. So I don't need to have that up there. The work history is clear. It's formatted very nicely. They're taking advantage of this column, leaving some white space like the other one did, but it's pretty pleasing to the eye. And then this one, I like this one the very best. What I liked about it is it has a really nice layout. The name, your name would be up at the top where it says college resume. About me, a little information about yourself to kind of bring some balance to it. I liked how this contact information was over here on this side, and they're using little icons to make it stand out. They included their LinkedIn, and then they use these columns to actually break down skills, awards, and education. And then right underneath it is a place where their experiences, whatever the work experience is. It's laid out, it looks really, really nice. So just take time to do some research, find some really good resume templates that you like. You can download them. Some of them cost money, but those are, it's very simple and it's easy to do. You can also replicate one pretty easily in Word using just, if you have this as a picture, to make sure you're covering it. But in Word, you can definitely set them up so that one side would be a column if you like that as a layout. This is similar to the one that we just previously looked at that was up here. Do you guys have any questions about resumes? Because I'm going to go jump into LinkedIn, and keep in mind, I cannot see you.
So I actually have a question. So with Valencia and the bachelor's program, and even with the AA, we get technical certificates after we meet so many requirements.
Yep.
Would we put those under the education or under the awards? Because we weren't registered to do the technical certifications. But
do they have expiration dates?
No.
Then I would go over and put them on under the heading of education, and this is why. Awards, you could change this from awards if you don't want to call it that. You could say achievements, or you could call it certifications. You could change that. It doesn't have to be that. Then you can differentiate your education. You can combine education with the certificates. Just don't try to put two words in there. Keep it real simple so it's one word.
All right.
Yeah. Any other questions? Okay, well then I'm going to go ahead and switch. I know I'm going to have to do the stop share and then pull up the PowerPoint. So give me just a minute to get that one set up. And then I can share again. That's not the PowerPoint I want.
I actually do have a question.
Yes.
I already pulled up those templates to do the resumes, and I've seen some newer ones where you can add your picture to them. Do you recommend using those or?
No,
No?
that's what I said last week. I said I would not use the ones that have the pictures on them because that's how people can discriminate. And, you know, you want to lessen that as much as possible so that people don't sit here and go, oh, well, you know, I don't like this person for whatever, you know, and
That makes sense,
honestly,
yeah.
I've seen a lot of, like today, this whole week, I've looked at resumes of people that are from, you know, other countries and they have 3, 4, 5 names. And, you know, Americans, I'd keep it super simple because they are not able to figure out, okay, what's your first name? What's really your last name? So if you have multiple names, I know Hispanic cultures and Caribbean cultures have a tendency to do that. Just pick 2 names on there to keep it super simple. And again, or I think a lot of Americans, when they see that, they'll begin to go into this place of, oh, I don't know if that person can really speak English or, you know, what's going on here. And it raises some concerns. So to limit that as much as possible, I would definitely, you know, try to keep it simple for Americans, honestly. That's not how it should be, but that's the world that we are in, I guess. So let me see. It keeps trying to go to another, here we go, another PowerPoint. So I've got it. Okay, and I will switch over to a different layout. There we go. So these are some really great tips on how to use LinkedIn. And remember, because I do look for this, and I know I'm not the only one. I look to see if what's on a person's resume is matching what's on their LinkedIn profile, because there can be, it's interesting to me. I'll say that. I go, okay, is it that they're not very active on LinkedIn? Is that why they're not paying attention to it? Or is it because there's something that they put on LinkedIn, it gets more visibility that they don't want somebody to see on their resume? I'm never sure. So there's always going to be a reason, but it raises some flags. And I definitely ask that in my interviews. Well, why does your resume not look the same as your LinkedIn? So you might end up having that as a question. Remember to keep your personal life separate from your professional life. If you do any TikTok videos, anything that you do not want the pastor of your church, your grandmother, or a 5-year-old to see, then you need to make sure that you keep those things private. If you're going to have a Facebook account, you might have one for just friends and family that's public facing, and then for whatever it is that you don't want other people to see. But this is what even attorneys do. They do background checks on people based on what's on your social feeds. So once you put it out there, it is out there. So think long and hard about the language that you use, whatever it is that you're wearing. Think about where you are in your life, you know, and because it's there. You can take it down, I know that, but it doesn't go away. You also want to be able to think about it as a way to get professional training. They have LinkedIn Learning. It was My Linda. There's a number of courses that you can always take for free. They'll have courses about how to do just exactly like what we're talking about today, how to optimize your LinkedIn profile. You can use it to develop your power skills, technical skills, develop leadership, time management, whatever it is that you want to learn more about. There is a free version of it, and it's limited in capacity as to what you can learn, but there is also a paid version. And I think when you're in school, you actually get access to this. I think it's still through My Linda, but you should have access to it. So you can learn a lot and actually get certifications. So be sure and look for that. This is how people use LinkedIn in different social sites, and I thought this was interesting. There's different ways. If you like donuts, it's like, woohoo, I like donuts. It's on Facebook. You might see it on Instagram sometimes because it's highly visual. You have Snapchat, you have Instagram, you have Pinterest, you have WhatsApp, you have also podcasts. So there's different ways that people use these social media channels to get a message out. And you don't see people out there doing it on LinkedIn unless it's like this. I want to operate a donut franchise. I'm looking for a job. I have 3 years of experience making donuts, my top skills, and here's 3 recommendations. So LinkedIn is different from all of the others because it's truly based on getting a job, professional development, and that's I think the key distinction there. You want to make sure that when you get your LinkedIn account set up, you go all the way through. So you want to enter your name the way you want to be called. So my first name is actually Joni, but I don't want to be called by Joni. So because people would mispronounce my name, they'd say Johnny, and I got tired of that. So I went by the middle name. So it says J period Isabella Johnston. Well, people still might mess it up a little bit, but not like they used to. So it says, call me Izzy, Isabella, or Isabella. Any of those are fine. It's just never Isabel is usually what I tell people when I speak with them. So make sure you have your name up there, whatever you want to be called. Maybe it's Michael, and then you put parentheses, I mean, not parentheses, quotation marks, Mike, that's fine. Oh, somebody's coming in the room. So it made it stop sharing. Oops. Is it still sharing my screen?
Yes, it's still
Yeah, I see
showing.
it.
Okay, great.
It's on LinkedIn.
Yeah, thank you. When somebody came in the room, it makes it pop up in my screen and it stops everything. Okay, so you also on your LinkedIn profile, there's a place where you can add a tagline, anything that you want to be remembered by. So use it. You can also use it in the headline. You can use keywords to describe you. Mine says Isabella Johnston, J. Isabella Johnston. It says the intern whisperer. So that's like the tagline. You do not want to let it default to your current job title. So, and there are character limitations in this tagline. So here's an example. SVP is Senior Vice President. He's with Stanford Capital Partners. But notice they use these little lines here. You actually have those on your computer. It's over there underneath the backspace button. Financial Services, SVP. He apparently has another title here. And these are his areas of specialties that he has, investment management, client services, mergers and acquisitions, integration, and increased margins. These are key words that are going to be appealing, especially if he's looking to get more customers coming into his role at a capital firm. He can also be using this as a way to find a job. So that's really what you want to be able to think about in here is, don't let it default to just your current job title like this. There's a lot of ways that you can make sure that you stand out using these keywords. And increased margins, that's a deliverable. This is what he's saying that he can do for his customers. At any point in time, if you have questions, let me know. I'm happy to stop and answer a question. You want to make sure you have a professional headshot, not one that you take with your phone where you're doing like a selfie. Don't do one of those. If you can't get a professional headshot, you can always ask somebody else to take a picture of you, but think about the background. What's going on in the background? You should try to choose a background that's going to be somewhat neutral so that you're the focus of what is going on in that picture. Think about how your hair is going to look. Also for the ladies that wear makeup, what is the makeup that you want to have? I know I have dangly earrings on. I tend to always wear those, but I know that I'm not supposed to in those because it becomes another one of those distractions. So what is it that you want somebody to focus on? You either look straight ahead into the picture or you can be looking over to the side, but usually if you're looking straight into the camera, it's very engaging and you're getting eye contact. So think about all of these different things, especially what you're going to be wearing. You want to have contrast. So I love to wear black. That's like a signature color for me. It's what I wear a lot most of the time. and it's the color I like the most. And it provides good contrast, but when I have my hair down like it is today, nobody can tell like, well, where does the hair stop and where does her clothing start? So you have to think about that. You want to have contrast. And so I might wear my hair up, or I might wear something where I have a lighter colored shirt on and maybe or a different type of a jacket on, so that if I'm going to wear my hair down, there's contrast. We always have here at Intern Pursuit, and I have a photographer that comes in. He does headshots. We give that as a gift to anybody that works within Intern Pursuit itself or any of the employers. So tomorrow's headshot day, and everybody is coming in to get their headshots. And we probably have about 30 people that are going to come in and get headshots done by a photographer. And it makes a difference. He's able to make everybody feel comfortable and relaxed, and you don't have a forced smile, but one that you're feeling, you're oozing confidence is what I'm going to say. So no background distractions, think about the contrast, and then also make sure that you've got somebody taking the picture with you or for you. You get a lot more visibility when you go and put your profile up there on LinkedIn. There's company recruiters that use LinkedIn. LinkedIn also has their own recruiters. So people are always looking to find others. And it is way more convenient to post it there and get access to recruiters while you are also looking and applying for jobs. So it's an additional helping hand, if you will. And it doesn't cost anything. Yes.
Cheyenne actually has a question.
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, I have a question. So I know we're talking about appearance-wise and for like headshots and things like that. What are your stances on like hair colors? Because I naturally have dark hair and I usually tend to wear it always straight, but my hair color now is pretty much like a red brownish color. Like, would that be acceptable for like headshots and not too distracting or wild?
Oh, I don't think so. I had somebody that was with me, Valencia student, who had pink hair. And so she came in and then she switched it to orange when it was Halloween. So I think it depends upon the company, honestly. And if you have a company that is, I guess, more liberal in how they approach things, you shouldn't worry about it. And I'm using that as a very extreme example of hair color. I don't know what you look like, but I can tell you it sounds fine because my hair used to be reddish brown too. And I just went, I think I'm going to go darker. Sometimes I put like a plum color in it and, play around with it, but it really depends upon the industry that you're trying to reach. For example, in banking or anything that's very, very conservative, they would not necessarily want anybody with pink or orange hair. But if you're in a tech company where usually not many people are out there front facing, they aren't going to care what your hair color looks like. It's truly about, can you do the job? So think about the role that you would have. TV personalities, they're always on camera. Maybe they always look for news people. They have very conservative looks. Banking, lawyers, accounting, very conservative. So just remember who you're applying to. It's going to be about them and their culture and the customers that they serve. And then that should help you to make a decision. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Perfect. So you also want to use a background photo. This is good real estate. To me, this is all real estate opportunities here for personal branding. So here you want to make sure that you're using a picture that you have rights to, and there's all kinds of places where you can create a really cool looking background picture. You can do it on Canva. You can also get free images from Unsplash or Pixabay or Pexels or, gosh, Creative Commons. You can make one yourself if you want in just like a white or a solid color background, and then be able to make some accommodations so that you can put in PowerPoint, you can honestly do a slide and then just do a snippet. But just make sure you have rights to whatever the image is that you're using in the back. You can use a meme creator if you want to use a quote. You need to make sure that it's exactly the right size, whatever you're doing, so that it's not too over pixelated. It doesn't look like it's stretched. It doesn't look like it's distorted in how it's, showing up on the page. And it's going to be a JPEG, a PNG, or a GIF. JPEG means it's going to have whatever the solid background is. It's going to be just like a piece of paper that you would look at with a picture on it. PNG means it has a clear background. So if you make it a PNG file and you put it on top of your LinkedIn profile, it's going to have whatever that crazy background is that LinkedIn has shining right through it. So think about those types of things. You can also claim a vanity URL. So instead of having that string of letters and names, you can actually get your name up there. So it says linkedin.com/n/ and then it would have your name. So, these instructions, if you just go to the help area of LinkedIn and say vanity URL, they'll take you exactly to that place and you'll be able to get your name tied to your LinkedIn profile. And then getting recruiters' attention. I always leave, there's a place where you can turn that on your LinkedIn profile. And I always leave it open to recruiters to look at my profile. And I had somebody that was looking at my profile now, and I have my own companies, but they don't know. They're going, well, she turned it on. There might be a reason. Maybe she's looking for a job. Maybe she's going to, leave her company. I don't know. But you can turn that on for yourself. That's another way that you rise to the top and people will see you. You've got to make sure that you have the education section, a picture, you identify what your experience is. You can include volunteer experience and what your skills are. And 75% of those hiring managers, they look at that to be able to see if they want to hire you. So you want to, when you set up your profile, go and look at it on your phone. You also want to make sure that, everything is looking good on your phone, because remember how those pictures and images and logos will distort if they're not the right size. So make sure, because so many people look at their phone to find information, probably, I guess it's maybe about 50%, the same as when they go and look at it here on your, in this case, in your LinkedIn profile. So it says 10x members who list a school get 10 times, that's what the X means, 10 times more views on the average. So I know I've had multiple schools that I have attended, and I put them all on there because it's a way that LinkedIn and their algorithm, they begin to match it up. So I can see all of the people that went to University of Florida that would maybe be a first level connection with me, a second level. And it can be a way that I can reach out to them and say, hey, I spent 2 years at U of F and I'd like to be able to talk with somebody about this. And it's a way for you to get your foot in the door someplace or have a conversation. So definitely be proud of the fact that you guys are from Valencia College. It's one of the top 5 schools in the country as in size, but it's also a very innovative school. You guys go to a great school. It has a really good reputation. You should be thanking Dr. Sugart and all of the professors that have worked to make that reputation stand out. So put it up there and make sure you're super proud of it. Add the clubs that you lead and honors. Anything that you can do to make yourself stand out is going to be key. Then showcase your work. There's places where you can upload things. If you have a link to your own website for a brand, or if you have a GitLab or a GitHub link, there's places where you can use those. If you're a person that does any front end work or games, use this as a place to showcase your work. If you've done anything that is not a group project, but maybe group projects are okay, but keep in mind you've got other names on there, and maybe you don't want to do that. You're trying to set yourself apart from everyone else, so it should be something that you've done if you've done some studies or research. And you get over here, you want to choose the right skills. So you can actually identify the skills that you want to have, and it should be not for the job you're in. So let's say that you work at Chick-fil-A And you're front facing, you're, over there where you take the orders, that's customer service. So you would definitely want to pick that as a skill that you put on there, even with Chick-fil-A, but you don't have to worry about it being in hospitality if that's not the industry that you want to go into. So think about this. Where are you now and where do you want to go? Choose the skills that are where you want to go to be on your LinkedIn profile. And it's just merely just typing them in there. I don't know if you can really see it on here, but it says featured skills and endorsements. And you just type them. It might say financial modeling, internal controls. This is for somebody that is in that space of finance. So whatever it is, go ahead.
This is the app you're talking about?
You can do it in the app or you can do it on your computer. Either way, it's just showing you what it looks like in the app. Yeah. Yeah. There is no preference. You can do it on both sides. And you can get endorsed for those skills so that people that know you, like your professors or your friends that have worked with you, they can also give you kind of like a thumbs up. And it'll go up to, I think it's 99 votes, upvotes that you are really proficient in those skills. And this is what they're talking about here too. So we have recommendations. Anytime you can get recommendations, it should be from real sources. So if you're going to ask me for a letter of recommendation, what's better is to have it over here so that now it's not a letter that you're sending out. It's published. It's on your profile. People can see that. And that can be, hey, I worked with, I don't know Ron, but I'm going to say Ron, and he has this awesome customer service. I cannot begin to tell you how great it was. He was always on time. And anytime I had a problem with my, with whatever the product was, he was always making sure that I was fully satisfied with that product and gave me an extra, type of protection plan. I don't even know what he does, but I'm making this all up. Anyway, make sure that you get recommendations on there so that they get published on your LinkedIn profile. And you do not need to reciprocate. If you ask somebody for a LinkedIn recommendation, you can offer to do one for them, but it should not be expected because it should be truly based on the fact that you have those skills or whatever it is that you're needing to clarify. Remember what I talked about, the endorsements. So you can choose to be endorsed. Those are keywords. You can be strategic. You can remove them in addition to the skills, but you can get endorsements. It's just another way to get more engagement with you on your profile and to also reach out to other people. And then here, I kind of like this resume also, honestly. It's got too many colors though. It'd be really good for a graphic designer or maybe somebody in marketing, but it won't fly past the applicant tracking system, ATS. So remember, Ron asked me earlier about the putting the picture up there. This is where I'm saying, don't do that. In other countries, I've seen that they do that, especially again in Latin countries. I see that they do that a lot. But they also put their marital status, and then they will put, what is the other thing? They put their marital status and they put something else up there. And I went, oh my God, why are you doing that? Oh, their birthday. Don't ever put that stuff out there because people, well, first off, that's how you can lose your identity or people can take that from you. So, never put your birthday on anything. That's could be a discrimination factor. And then you also want to make sure that you don't put the picture up there because they can find you on LinkedIn. And when you have a professional headshot, they already know we're all the same in that area, but you want to be just super aware of what you're putting out here. Marital status is not one of those things either. So birth date, all of this is over here. I like how this is done because they put their skills, they made this very visual. It's the same as here with the languages so that it's kind of breaking up some of the text. So it's not quite so heavy. It doesn't always tell me everything that I would want to know, but I think it's a really nice layout, but it does intrigue me enough that I would go, I want to talk to this person. Do your research on whoever you might be interviewing with and definitely the company. So I cannot begin to tell you how many people come in and I go, do you know anything about my company or me? And they go, no. I go, okay, well, let's go ahead and start with this because I've already done my research on you to make sure I know stuff about you. And it makes, even if I haven't done, it really is impressive when you've done that legwork. So think about that too. Align your info on LinkedIn to your resume, make sure they match so that, you know, whatever year you started matches to the end date.
You're
those
cutting
types of
in and
things.
out, Isabella.
Ooh, I'm so sorry. Is this better? I'm going to hope it's better.
Yes.
Okay. Sometimes there's some connectivity issues every once in a while. So we'll hope for the best here. Make sure that these two match, the years of service match, whatever the titles are match, you know, those types of things, because you don't want to be caught saying that you're a job responsibility or a leader if you're not on, you know, one, maybe the resume says you are, but on LinkedIn it doesn't. So just make sure everything matches. You can set up job alerts. So this is what I started doing with my own LinkedIn account. So you're going to see it switch. Here's my picture here. You can set up job alerts. So you go to the jobs section here on your LinkedIn account. You can set up and search by title or a skill or a company. You can put remote in here. This is also in the more you can pick remote so you don't have to move to something. I put startup in there also as part of what I'm looking for. Startup is over in this area, and then I'll pick the drop down remote. And then I will also begin to filter by, you know, HR, and then I can see what type of opportunities there are. When I use the word startup, it allows me to find jobs that they're new companies, you know, they'll be looking to hire, and they're going to be pretty open to somebody with some entry-level skills where it might not be as easy in other areas. So think about that. Make sure, again, we talked about this, it's mobile friendly. You can see over here, Lisa saying that she's an executive resume writer. She's got all of these key words in here, her school, her area, where she lives, all of those are good. You don't have to say New York or Orlando. You could say Greater Central Florida, whatever you want to say. But again, look at it on your phone. Browse other job descriptions to see what's out there, the type of work you would be doing. It helps to get your foot in the door. You'll look at the company culture. You'll look at the people that work there. Create a list of target employers that you want to follow. You can follow them on LinkedIn, and any news that they're putting out in their social feeds will populate in your LinkedIn inbox. And that's another way of seeing what's going on and creating a conversation. And you can identify those inside connections of a target company. So here was Google. And I said, oh, it says that I have 8 connections with Google out of 229,000 employees there. And this is their page also. There's a way to get noticed and asked to connect. You can do something like this when you're in the area of, this will show up in my network, what you see up here. Here's some people that they're saying, because I looked at Google, that I might consider reaching out to. It'll also show not just the people, but job opportunities when you're looking at all of this. So you can see quite a bit of information over here on that left-hand side. And then this is my profile here. So I have got my name up here. It doesn't say the J in there. It says what it is that I am, founder at Intern Pursuit, Intelligent Intern Management. I need to do some work on mine. It's just not high priority for me because I'm not looking for a job, but I would definitely do all of the suggestions that they have in here. And when you do that, again, oops. You're going to think about the background. This is my background. This is the homepage of my company website. So that's why I put there. And then some of my schools will begin to show up here. On this side, when you're looking to search for industry recruiters, I typed in, if I was a software. If I was going to be in software development or a programmer, I would look for that keyword software and then pick recruiters after it, whether it's like HR recruiters, or maybe it's nonprofit, something like that. Then I would see companies that specialize in that as recruiting companies, and I would begin to check them out. And this is where I could see, okay, can they help me find a job and what I'm looking for? Here's a tip. Recruiters should not charge you money to get a job. They charge the companies. If they're charging you money, then pass them by. You can go and look for a company that does not charge you a fee, because they honestly get paid a fee for that from the company that they have a relationship with. But you can sort by the area, North America. You can pick the industry. I chose it here to make it go faster. Different sizes of companies, but that's just helpful to find recruiters. And then you can also follow news and influencers. So this is another way to begin to create some conversations around topics and things that are of interest to you. And just to be clear, sometimes students don't understand what industries are. That would be perhaps hospitality. It could be healthcare. It can be the defense sector. Those are industries. And so if you're looking at Grumman or Lockheed Martin, they're in defense. And you can begin to get a little bit more familiar with the industries that you might want to work in. Industries, if you did not want to have one that's super conventional, then that's going to be a way for you to see, okay, am I willing to change my hair color, for example, because it's pink and I want to go and work in this industry. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. Look at what's going on in there. You can share your articles, but you can share other people's articles also. And when you do that, you're able to build a relationship with somebody else that wrote the article. You can join groups. You can join up to 100 groups in LinkedIn and then get connected to hundreds of people and even thousands of people. These groups are huge that are inside of there. And you can even post your resume in a group. For example, if it's computer programming, if I went over into a group that was for software developers, I could say, hey, I'm looking for an entry-level job in computer programming. Here's my resume. What tips can you guys give me to help find this type of a job? Well, that could be where you get a lead from and somebody interviews you, but you'll also get a lot of feedback on your resumes. And activity and engagement are key as on any social channel. So when you like something, you want to make sure that you are liking it, that you're following it. Here's a comment that I wrote. They announced the semifinalists, and then I put a comment down here. I was sharing it, blah, blah, blah. And just stay consistent with it. It doesn't mean that you have to put lots of time into it. 10 minutes a day is more than enough. You can pose questions, you can do polls, you can ask feedback, you can comment on somebody else's post, all kinds of stuff. And then here are the 100 LinkedIn groups. I mean, they're not limited to 100, but you can have anything. So here's the groups that I follow. I look at Ed Tech, I look at like WorkHuman, this is HR stuff. I look at TEDx organizers. I'm on the TEDx Orlando committee here. And then servant leadership, this is a topic that's near and dear to my heart. So I pick all of the groups that I want to have, information on and interact with these people. And then that is it. I am at the end of that. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing. Any questions that I can answer?
I have a question about the background picture for the LinkedIn. So
Okay.
you have your homepage picture up there for yours, but for somebody who doesn't have a company or isn't a part of a company, what would you recommend that background picture being?
I think it should be whatever you're really passionate about, because you were telling me about nonprofits. You might have something because you're looking for a job in nonprofit. That might be what the picture is that you put behind you. You can also pick something that's, maybe it's just going to be a color, something that's neutral, and then you have your favorite quote on top of it. So
Okay.
maybe it's something from Maya Angelou, pick anything that you wish. But then that's going to be because it gives you inspiration, and you can also use that as a way as this is the most inspiring author that I know. And I love this quote, and then people will react to it, honestly.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. So we
I have
may
that
not have,
picture.
okay, did you have a question, Ron?
Yeah, I was just saying I have that Zoom picture on my LinkedIn page. You don't think that's too flashy?
You have a Zoom picture on LinkedIn? Oh,
The
you
picture
mean
that
the
you see
picture
when you're
that I
getting-
commented on?
Yes.
Okay, so that one looks like you're like, certainly in action in there. I would really have one that on LinkedIn, make it just the headshot so that people are engaging with you. I like the picture quite a bit, but honestly, I think that you'd probably be better with a headshot picture. But you are dressed professionally, so, it's good.
That's when we went on that internship trip to New York.
Oh, yeah, it looks like you guys are at a conference or something.
We were he was walking us around the whole place, telling us about the different terminals, what goes on there. They let us take pictures, but they wouldn't let us take pictures.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah, I want to do something like that again, or at least get into that stage of being able to wear a suit at least 2 days a week, but not every day a week.
Yep. I don't know. There's always something about dressing up, for the part, because it definitely puts you in a mindset of I'm here to work, right? So
Yeah.
if any of you guys are looking for an internship, feel free to go to internpursuit.tech and click on the student supply button on the top right-hand side. I've reached out. We've got a lot of students we're still matching, and I've been reaching out to some of the students that did apply on the website last week or 2 weeks ago. But always happy to have a conversation with you guys.
No, thank you. I look forward to trying to sign in and sign up for it. I would
I'm
like
going to
to
send you, Destiny, I'm going to send you a couple of things. One of them that I'm going to send you is a place where you can go and learn more about nonprofits. Rollins College, I graduated from Rollins. They have the Edith Bush Institute, and they have a course that you can take. I think it's like $30. And it teaches you like, what does it take to start a nonprofit? That one's really, really good one. But there's also some other courses that are geared around nonprofit and that will allow you to get some certifications. Some of them are free. Some of their courses do cost some money. Same with Edith Bush, but you'll learn a lot for sure.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much, Isabella.
You are very welcome. It's always so nice to see you.
Great to see you. Thank you for sharing this valuable information and meaningful information with the student, for taking your valuable time and invested with us. I would really appreciate everything you do for our students.
My pleasure. I was just speaking with Brad Jones this morning at the Valencia International students on the West Campus. And so he asked if I would do a presentation on being a startup or an entrepreneur. So he's scheduled some time with me. You can always ask me at any point in time, Sonia. I will always tell you yes.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Okay, well then, if no one else has questions, that's fine, but you guys can always reach out to me. It's my first name, Isabella, at internpursuit.tech, TECH.
Thank you. I sent you an email.
All right, I'm glad to see that. Thank you, Ron.
All right, thank you.
Okay, then I will talk with you later, Destiny. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.